really started hurting him. And now is when you also see the those Mutalisks being built early on, how it's hurting him now, how that Defiler was just a little bit late. One Defiler got picked off before it could even swarm. We're seeing less Lurkers out in the air, because when you think about the gas, pretty much every Mutalisk that you can build is almost equivalent to a Lurker in terms of the gas count. So it really hurt him a lot to do that. And it's falling behind a little bit there. The reason we didn't see any siege tanks there was because they all got picked off, and it's so expensive for Terrans to build those siege tanks off of 2 base when they're trying to get that Science Vessel Clouds, which Kwanro was doing a pretty solid job of picking off. He picked off 2 or 3 Science Vessels from what I could see, and yeah, he's doing a pretty good job of keeping those counts low, or possibly it could also be Ruby's not really producing as many as he could. And oh, Defiler getting irradiated, so that thing's not going to be able to do anything. But right now, note that both these players are on 3 bases. Only Kwanro now is starting to throw up his 4th at the top right there. And yeah, now he's going to start suffering in the macro long term. It seems like every step of the way he's been forgetting his macro and refuses to play macro style. And this is just a map where you have to play macro style. You can't play micro style when you start cross positions on this map. And every step of the way, Kwanro's been forced to use less units, micro as hardcore as he can, and when he does well, he's surviving. But at no point in this game would I really say that Kwanro was in a dominating or even a really strong position. He's been behind pretty much the whole time. He's been depending upon excellent micro to survive, and right now what he's depending upon is pretty much not even Lurker Ling, just Ling and Defiler. And he's hoping that his Defilers don't get irradiated too early, because if they do, it's just going to be GG. There's just too many Marines coming out here, and we see a defensive swarm for that Defiler, because he can't even afford to lose a Defiler at this stage. He's only on 3 gas, whereas Terran's on 3 gas as well, or should be if that 3rd base is up and running, which it should be. And Ruby's just macroing up a huge M&M force that Kwanro's just not going to be able to counter in about a minute or 2, as his lack of a 4th base really starts to catch up to him.
Yeah, Kwanro's in an extremely desperate position at this point in time. He does have a lot of Lings out in the field, and I really think that the only thing that he can use it right now is Lings and possibly some Defilers to go with it. He really needs to scourge the crap out of those vessels. I think he needs to do not just one of a couple of things that he could do. He needs to do all of the things that he possibly could do. He needs to scourge the crap out of those vessels, and he needs to stop the drops like this. He stopped one earlier in his main, which I thought was pretty impressive. A little bit lackluster on Ruby's part, more so than something great on Kwanro's part, I'd have to say. A nice plague going off there as well. I don't think it's going to do much, though. And yeah, these units have no medics with them, but they're going to take down enough Lings that I think it's going to be worth it for the drop anyways, not to mention the denying of mining time, as well as a couple of drone kills. And now he's forcing a Defiler to come all the way back there, and some Vultures running in here. You usually don't see this when the Terran player goes bio build, but some Vultures running in here. And I also want to point out that Ruby went for Vultures extremely early as well. He put up mines all over the field, and they're going to be extremely effective as well. And now Kwanro goes for the Vulture tech, and there are mines all over the place. A huge push coming in here, though. This might be the game-ending push. I didn't check the mini-map to see this coming, but this is going to be a huge push. It did get plagued, but I still think that there's enough units there that they're going to be able to take down more than they need to. So pushing in here, taking out a lot of drones with those Vultures. The Vulture's still in the backfield, still alive. And yeah, these vessels just free roaming over everything, just irradiating anything they want, and just running amok. So like I said, yeah, Kwanro's really got to pull out something just fantastic. Mines killing off Zerglings and anything out in the field. And I do have to commend Ruby. He did do something a little bit creative here by going for those early Vultures on a map that is this size, that is this big. Mines are really what you want to have out in the field, just to stop things like Lurkers, possibly doing a flank. So I really want to commend him on that. Other than that, I think he played extremely standard, and he just completely crushed Kwanro, who played a little bit old school standard, and whereas Ruby played kind of new school standard.
GG hasn't come out just yet, but I'm expecting to see it very soon. Ruby just able to expand completely uncontested. I think Kwanro did run in and try to deny like the 2 o'clock, but Ruby's easily on 4 bases and probably going to take a 5th soon, whereas Kwanro hasn't been able to get a base up and keep it up for more than 10 seconds. There's GG. Ruby just coming in with drop after drop after drop, and Kwanro, he was prepared for a couple of them, but never prepared for all of them, and they were just brutal and decisive. And earlier in the game, I just want to, just for a little bit longer, earlier in the game, when Ruby pushed in, he pushed in the secondary push after his first one was squashed. He pushed in at the exact time that the Defilers were just coming out, but Consume wasn't yet complete. Beautiful, perfect timing. It's like implanted in his brain, that exact 20-second opening where he could push in, and he pushed in during that exact time and took a decisive advantage.
Yeah, so a good game overall, and that's GG coming from Varoche, Deja Vu, Frank, and Soulseeker. See you guys in the ace match. Both these teams have 2 wins, so it's going to an ace match. So I'll see you guys there.